Hey, what's up, legends? Welcome to a new live stream. I'm excited to be here on a Monday. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. And I'm going to be joined here by my friend Ian Barnard in just a second. So I wanted to introduce all of you to my good friend, my partner, who I've been working with and collaborating with on new products and projects. And he's been a really good friend of mine. I'm sure you guys all know of him already. We've done some live stream just a couple of days ago, not too long ago. And so I'm excited to have him here in the live stream. So Ian, you gotta unmute yourself so you are back on track and that everyone can hear you. And in 3, 2, 1, Ian, I'm passing it on to you. Say hello to our friends.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me back. We had a good time last time we did this when we were doing the... what were we doing? I can't remember what we were doing last time we were on live stream. Seems like long ago.
So we did the ABC. We went through every single letter.
Every letter of the alphabet.
So that was really fun. I had a lot of fun doing that. And today we are doing a brand new project. We're trying out something new, but you've already done it a couple of times. You've even had a tutorial on it. So tell us about what we're doing today.
So today we are going to do some neon lettering. In Procreate itself, they do have some neon brushes, but if you want to edit those once you've done it, then it's not particularly easy because it breaks up the light that the pen's made. So what we're going to do is do it from scratch, where we draw the word or name, whatever you're doing, and then we can edit it a little bit, and then we can apply the effect to it. So what's quite good about this is that you don't have to have a finished thing. It's a bit more flexible. I think this way of doing neon lettering, but it still creates a cool effect. We're going to put it on a brick wall to give it even more depth. So it should be good. So hopefully I explain it well enough.
I'm
and
sure
you're going to
will.
do it alongside with me. So we'll see what we end up with.
So I'm excited to try this out. What we're going to use today was going to use the iPad Pro. We're going to use Procreate, and that's what we're going to use for that time. And if you are joining us and you do not have these tools, if you do not have an iPad and Procreate, do not worry. You can still draw something alongside us. You can draw the same lines, maybe not the same effects. But what I want to encourage you with really is that you stay creative, that you try it out, even though you might not have the right resources, and just give it a go, see where you can end up and how much you can do with just pen and paper. So don't let that stop you from creating with us today. So that is my encouragement for you today, that you would just join us. All right, I got my iPad ready. I'm gonna switch over to the other view and let you do the same, so that we can just jump in. Now, since I just wanted to update you guys that since I'm on this new live stream setup, and you probably heard it from last time, I still do not know exactly how all of this functions, but we're trying our best to make it work. And hopefully it will work really well. And right now you're not gonna see our faces as often, so I hope that you just enjoy the sound of our voice as we go along with our hands and motion, and use all these hand motions to just gesture-wise justify all these things that we're saying. So let me jump into here, Procreate. Whoa. My Procreate is not adjusting to the orientation anymore. Now it does. Perfect. Okay. So what canvas size are we using for this one?
So my doesn't really matter for this one, but let's go for the one I'm using is 3,000 by 4,000 pixels.
3,000 by 4,000 pixels. That's not even Instagram size.
That's the screen size.
That's the screen size, iPad. Yeah. So
what we can do square if you want to do square.
I'm totally good. I usually use 4,000 by 5,000 because that's usually Instagram size, and that's where I usually want to use my artwork to post. But guys, feel free to use any size you want, however you feel like is best for you.
We're going to be using a lot of layers. That's the only reason you want to go for a smaller one. That's the thing.
That is a good point. That is a fair point.
And people on smaller iPads might get stuck if they've got a bigger size.
So guys, listen to Ian on this one. We're gonna use a lot of layers, and but I'm serious. On a good note, it's always good to think ahead of how complex your piece of art would be. I'm just gonna show you an example from the piece that I did today. You can see here I have it in 3 times the same piece laid out, and every time I'm not wanting to delete anything, and I've used all the layers possible. So I have about 22 layers in this that I can draw. And so that's where, if you're going into a canvas size or you're creating a new one, so if you add the plus, you add all these elements here, you see the numbers of maximum layers. So 3000 by 4000, you'll see a maximum layer amount of 40. So that's good to know. I can do now 22 with the 4000 by 5000, but guys, just think about that always whenever you start something, how many layers you need. All right, you go.
Okay, let's get started. So the first thing we want to do, we want to do the background, which is going to be the basis for our lettering. So you want to switch over to your web browser and go to unsplash.com.
Did you know that they have an app? I have the app here for Unsplash, which is also really cool because you can kind of like have Procreate open like Unsplash to the side and then search and then just drag and drop your new images inside.
See, I didn't know they had an app out yet. So
we're learning. They told me. I didn't know that either until they told me.
So either way, through the app, or you haven't got time to download the app, then just go to the website. So what you want to just quickly search for is just brick wall. It doesn't matter which color you've got because we're going to turn it black and white anyway. So the one I used for this in the past is, if you scroll down a bit, you'll see one that says brown clay wall cladding.
Brown clay.
If you click on that.
Oh, see, I don't see those names. But
that's the problem with the app.
Do you know who made it?
Namrud Gorgeous.
You know what? I'm just gonna use a different wall than you do. I'm gonna go for
doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter. That's why we can say like I'm gonna go for you know what? I like this one. I'm not sure if this is gonna work, but I'm just gonna try that.
So the way I do it is, rather than downloading it and then having to replace it, I just hold my finger down and then copy the image. And then we go, once that's copied, we go back over to Procreate, 3-finger swipe down, and then we can just paste the image straight in there. Looks a bit small at first, but what we're going to do, fit to screen, and that's just fit to the canvas. So let's have a look.
Looks good.
So it's quite big though. Hang on, let me just double check. Oh no, it's fitted to the canvas, so that's cool.
Nadina Reese is saying, I love that Ian is like Stefan's big brother. True story.
I've got a lot more grey hairs, and that supposedly
I got some too. Not
as many as me.
I was shocked at, like, on this side here, I got a lot of gray hair. They're just sometimes behind the black ones, but I just like rubbed my hair a little bit like that, and suddenly like all this white hair came out. But again, it's not like I need to cut my hair anyway. Different story. All right, next step.
We got the brick wall.
Yeah.
Got the brick wall. Okay, I just want to do some things to the brick wall first. So if you go over to the magic wand, which is the one next to the spanner at the top left, I'll just and then you want to go down and to hue, saturation and brightness, and we just want to reduce the saturation completely, so to none. That turn it black and white, so it takes out all color.
So completely black and white?
Yep.
All right.
And then we just want to reduce the brightness slightly. So There we go. And then, so we're done with that. So we can just click on our layers panel again. And then what you want to do is new layer, select black from your color palette, click on the layer and just fill that layer above the brick wall. And then what you want to do is go to your brushes and scroll down to airbrushing soft brush.
Mm-hmm. So those are pre-installed by Procreate. So if you have Procreate,
they're pre-installed.
You got them.
Yeah, they're one of the ones I use quite often. And what we want to do is erase the center of this black layer. So you might have to, it depends on how big your canvas is. So sorry, I should have gone, you need to go to your eraser. So I selected the brush and selected the soft brush. But if you want the eraser to be exactly the same one, if you hold down for a few seconds on the eraser tool, it will now become the soft brush.
How do you do that?
Does that make sense?
No, wait. Explain that to me. That is probably something new that I
don't know.
Okay, so
I meant we needed to get the eraser tool in the brushes, but I select brushes. So at the moment it's under soft brush. Now, if I want the eraser to be exactly the same as the brush I selected in my paintbrush, I hold down for a few seconds on the eraser tool and it quick swap. Oh, it's not quick swap, it just quick.
So if here I have selected the soft brush and I hold long on that. No, this is so good. I love it. Learning new tricks.
If you want any more tricks like that, there's a few videos on my YouTube channel of quick hacks. I call them hacks. They are in the actual instruction manual. A few people have pointed that out. But, you know, we don't have time to read the instruction manuals these days. So,
exactly. Some people are just not willing to go through those. Like, I gotta say, it's absolutely underrated to have that manual. Like, the Procreate manual is absolutely amazing, and it's so underrated. Like, probably not enough people know that there is one, and it just everything you need.
Find it on their webpage. You just go to their website, and it's linked to it there. Okay, so we've got the eraser, we've got our soft brush. If you find that doesn't work, then just go and select soft brush, and then what we want to do is just erase. You might want to bring down the opacity a bit. What we're trying to do is have like an area in the center which is just like the sort of light. Sorry, I've got a reflection on mine, so it looks like I've got a black bit there, but we're just going to raise a sort of area of light, like a spotlight. And then what we want to do, once we've just done a sort of a circle of soft erasing, we're going to change the opacity of the layer to multiply by clicking on the N icon.
Or you can just
and then just reduce the opacity slightly. So what you're aiming for is like this vignette look. So you can, you know, as you select up and down, you can see it sort of increases and decreases it. A bit like a filter, you know, some of the Instagram filters. So, because what we're going to do is there's going to be spill off a light from the neon. So that's what this is for. So once you've done that, you should end up with something that sort of looks a bit like that.
Has like darker edges around, kind of like a vignette that just pulls it over.
So good. Next we want to select another layer, and this is where we are going to put our text, but I'm going to actually, because I always need guidelines, I'm going to grab grid builder, and I'm going to select rise, no, shear. I'm just going to do that in a sort of.
Why did you call it shear? I'm still thinking about it. I used it one time and I like had to say it out loud in the live stream. And I was like, why did we call it shear? No.
Because that's the effect I applied to that object. Because I made these in Illustrator. We came up with them. I produced them in Illustrator, so they were crisp and clean. And to get some of the effects, that one was shear. And the same with rise is one of the effects in Illustrator to get that shape. So
one of the things...
That's why I hate naming things. So if there's a name already out there, I'll just use that.
That is true. That makes sense. What I like to do is usually when I have a slant upwards, the shear, I also like to slant the whole, like tilt the whole grid a little bit forward. And I see that a lot of people like try to slant their letters just inside of it by keeping it straight. But if you just use the adjustment tool and kind of like move it around and like tilt it a little bit forward by using the freeform function, you get that kind of like the tilt, the slant that you like to have. Which is like perfect for your letters.
Sorry, my pen's not playing the game at the moment. Oh, my nibs. If you find your nothing's happening, check your nib, because my nib was slightly loose, so you have to tighten it back up again.
Yep, that happens to me sometimes too.
I am going to choose a colour that's quite bright so it stands out. There we go, that green will do. So, okay, we need a name, don't we? We need a name to do.
So, exactly. So this is the time where you guys come into the live stream. So if you want us to letter your name, then you can start typing it out and writing like crazy, and we'll pick out one name. Probably better way to do that would be to actually choose a emoji and then have people write it. But I also just like to see kind of everyone write their name and fill it out. And this is just the easiest way for us to decide, is like using Super Chat. You can also just type in an amount and do something like that. What I'm going to do, however, I'm going to use one of my Patreons, and I'm going to tell you, Ian, what name you can use for yours. We're going to use that from the chat. And I see names dropping in here. We got Paloma, we got Saijal, Tiff, we got Cindy, Benoit as always, he won last time, the grid builder, and he gave it away to someone else because he already had it, but he won the challenge.
Oh, that's very nice.
So let's see.
Okay.
We have a name. Do you see the chat as well?
Yeah, I just got it up. A few people said I need to brighten my screen. Is that better, or just brighten it up a little bit more?
Oh yeah, I can see it better now.
I didn't want it to be. The problem is I've got a. I don't have the same setup as you with the quality of the cameras, so I'm trying not to lose some of the detail, but we'll see what happens later on.
All right, I'm going to use Nikki, who just became a Patreon this morning. So Nikki's Inc. So I'm just going to write out Nikki, and you have good luck by choosing someone's name randomly on the chat. They are going crazy.
Okay. I haven't left myself a great deal of room, so I'm going to choose. They go so fast, don't they?
I know, this is good.
Let's go for.
You got so many names to choose from. So many.
Okay. Go for. Make my eyes go funny. Okay, here we go. Let me just stop it.
Take a screenshot and just leave it.
Yeah. Okay, let's do Brenda.
Brenda it is. Congratulations, Brenda. You're getting your name lettered. And I'm going to use Nikki, who's one of my Patreons. Also, just want to say a big shout out to all the Patreons who are watching, the community of Patreons. On Friday, we're doing a coaching session with all of you guys. So I'm going to be coaching one person. I still have to decide who it is, but we're going to coach one person, and everybody get to watch, get to join the chat. And so you guys get to profit or benefit from that conversation with that person. And you can just join in and listen to that and how I get to talk about it. So you're doing Brenda, I'm going to do Nikki, and let's jump back to the iPad here. And so tell us, what's the next step?
Okay, next step is create a new layer above your guides, if you're using guides, or just go back onto the layer you were on. And then what we want is a white brush here's another tip that I found out recently. If you're wanting either pure black or pure white, if you double tap near the white, it will automatically like magnetically go to the white. If you double tap near the bottom, it will go to 100% black.
I love it.
That's another cool tip. So
brilliant.
So grab white as a color and then go to your brushes and select, this is the default brushes, click V, and then you want your monoline brushes or monoline brush.
So where do you find it? That under inking? No.
Calligraphy. There's an A as a symbol and it says calligraphy, and then you want a monoline brush.
Ooh, it has a strong streamline in it. All right, so, and then you just write it out however you want to.
So then, yeah, you just want to write in the name.
Does it all have to be connected?
Up to you. It's up to you. Do whatever style you want to do.
If I can do whatever I want to, then. Nice. Oh, that actually was pretty close to good. Okay, let's see.
I'll do it again.
You know what? I'm first gonna start off with sketching it out before trying to do the final line. Going back to my sketch brush. Oh, my camera just died on me quickly. I love that new trick with the eraser brush that you can just go back and just hold down and it will pick up your last settings. So yes, Laura said that every 30 minutes we didn't see you at our end, and that is correct. You that one camera that I have that I'm using is my camera that I use as a photographer, so it's a DSLR camera, and unfortunately Canon had decided to do a 30-minute limit, and that's why it always turns off on me, and that's just the way it is, and I have to live with it.
Okay. While you're making yours, someone suggests I must do a flourish on that R, so I'm going to give it a go, see what it looks like.
Ooh, this looks good.
Then I could probably match it up with a D somehow.
All right, so that is Nikki on my end. And I probably can just drag that a tiny little bit closer, small adjustments. All right, so whoa, that lettering looks already really cool on your end. So you have some amazing flourishes with the R and the D, which is nice. I did some flourishes with the K, with the top of the K, and kind of like going down into the I. So did you, I'm not seeing that really clear, but you already added some glow to it?
No, that's probably, I think it's just my camera. Yours is much sharper than mine.
Interesting.
Are you doing yours in green?
In bluish. It's like a light blue, close to the green.
Okay, make sure it's white in a minute.
It needs to be white?
Yeah.
Double tap that color and get into white. Fill it out with a alpha lock in it. Okay, alpha lock is gone with 2 fingers. Perfect. So it's all white now.
All white. Brilliant. Okay, you done?
Yes.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, so what we want to do now is open the layers panel again. Get rid of that one. And what we want to do is duplicate it 3 times.
3 times. Duplicate.
3 times. So you're left with 4 layers all looking the same.
Sweet. So we got 4 layers here looking the same.
Okay. So what I'll explain which one, what each of them do. So the bottom one is going to be our shadow layer. Okay. So we can convert that now. So if we just 2 finger swipe to the right or click on it and click alpha lock. Or actually, what's quicker, because it's white.
Yeah, we can
click on the layer and just click invert.
Easy peasy.
Take off alpha lock. Oh, is mine doing it? I think mine's doing it.
Yeah, it's still doing it. Even if you have alpha lock on, it will do the invert.
Mine's not working. Or you can go to the magic wand tool, hue, saturation, and brightness, and just bring all the brightness all the way down, and that will create a black layer. So that's our shadow layer. We're going to let's sort that one out now first. So what we want to do is with the transform tool, which is the arrow up here, we're just going to move it to the right and down slightly. So this is like a drop shadow.
So you're just going to move it down a tiny little bit?
Yeah, to the right and down a bit. Once you've done that,
yep,
I'm going to go to the effects panel, which is adjustments, which is the magic wand icon. Click on Gaussian blur
on the shadow layer.
Yeah, and we are just going to give it a little bit of a blur,
like 5%.
Yeah, we're between 5 and 10%. I'll do it like 8.5 or something. And then just maybe reduce the opacity slightly. A lot of people are saying, what does multiply do? Multiply takes out any lighter tones. So there's screen and there's multiply. Multiply removes, so it's just a dark screen, just keeps in the light. So we could turn that to multiply if we wanted to as well, just to, it's really making a difference actually. So that's our shadow layer done.
Then we
so
move
next,
on.
so our top layer is going to be left as it is. And then the first of the two underlying layers, we are going to click on the layer and select Alpha Lock. So we're going to color this in the color we want, the neon color we're deciding. So I'm going to go for the classic pink.
I think I'm going to go for this
bright pink.
Bluish that was before. So now I can just click on fill layer, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And I shouldn't see anything. So it should be hidden behind the white layer that we have still on top.
That's right. And actually, let's change color of the one beneath that as well. We're just going to fill that exactly the same color as well.
So again, alpha lock and then
fill layer. So we have two layers of the same color, and then once you've done that, turn the alpha lock off of both of those because we're going to blur those in a minute. So with the second layer selected of those 4 layers, we are going to go to adjustments, which is the magic wand tool, and click Gaussian blur, and then you want to give it about 9%.
Oh, and you have to take it out of alpha lock, otherwise you won't see anything.
Take both of those layers out of alpha lock because otherwise it won't.
So how many percent did you say?
I said 9%.
9%.
So you'll see it and you think, oh, it's not enough. But what we're going to do is we're going to do some duplications of that layer to increase it, increase the sort of punchiness of it. So once you've done that, added 9%, go back to your layers panel, and what we want to do is duplicate that layer 10 times.
10 times?
Yeah. So
does it actually work if we would combine these two? Do we have to multiply it still 10 times? Or like if I would, so this is my thinking. This is how I go about it, is I can merge it down now and then duplicate it again. And so now it's 4 times, merge it down again. So it's 8. And so it's still.
So I haven't experimented to see whether it brings the same thing. So maybe you do yours your way and I'll do mine my way. So what you can also do is just, if you do it 5 times, make sure you don't do anything with the layer below those. So I've got 5 here, so I can select all 5 of those. If I hold it down, once I've selected it, and drop it on my canvas, it will multiply it another times, but then we have to put it back to some reason it puts me right at the top. So there I've got my 10 layers. So to combine all those together, you're going to pinch them all together. So from the top to the last of those layers, you just bring them all in. As you can see, they're all coming together, and you get to a certain point and they go bing into one layer. Or you can select all the layers and then group them and then combine them. That's a long-winded way.
If for any chance it doesn't do bing like Ian's does, you just do bing yourself and add that sound effect, because that is actually cool and you just need that sound effect in your life on Procreate. So we got that. Now we still have a third layer with the colors.
So still on that layer, we just squeeze together. We want to click on the N icon, the blending options, the opacity, and what we want to choose is add.
So add. I'm not seeing any difference that these make.
You should do, because you'll see the wall through it.
No, I know why it's not doing any effect, because I'm on the wrong layer.
Oh.
Yeah. Now it has the nice texture of the wall in the background.
So but at the moment it's still a bit harsh. So and then what we're going to do next is this is going to be quite a punchy effect. But what we're going to do now is the same thing with the third layer. So, but we're going to duplicate that just 5 times.
Okay.
Time. Oh no! Actually, before we do that, we need to give it a blur.
Yep.
So you go up to the adjustments menu again, and Gaussian blur. This time you want to give it 18 because we want to make it a little bit wider. Oops. I have to start mine again. Is it working?
Yeah, it does a weird effect. So how much are you giving it?
18. So double what you did on the first one.
So 18, okay.
See, this is the problem when I start lightening up my iPad. It's quite hard to see. And then what you're going to do is just duplicate that 5 times. So you're repeating the process like the other one, but instead of 10, you're just doing it 5. So you should have. I'll do it 4 times. I'll show it, ended up with 6, I think. 5 or 6 doesn't really matter. And again, changing the blending mode to add so we can see the wall through it. I'm going to probably reduce my layers down just so you can actually see it, because my camera doesn't seem to be dealing with neon very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
Let me have a look. So the good thing about this is if it does look too bright, you can adjust the different how far that glow goes out. It's like in Photoshop when you have like layer styles and you can adjust how much you glow something.
Now I'm just curious see if I would use so my method is usually going with a luminance brush. So I have a light pen that I can draw and does a similar effect. Now I just need to change the settings here. Properties, maximum size, going higher. Does a quite similar effect. This one is a lot harsher though. Anyway, going back to your.
And then what we want to do is, so that we've got our blur effect. So what we're going to do is create a new layer just above or below, just above the sort of background, or below our shadow. So select where we did the vignette, that black area with the light coming through. We want a layer just above that.
You got it. And then using a soft brush, color in the background, is that it?
Yes, so you got it. So with the same color you've been using, you want to sort of go round, just roughly round, so it's the spill of light. And it'll be a bit too in your face at first, but go to the layers menu, layers panel, click on the blending options again. We're using add for all of these because this just adds it to the wall, and then we just want to reduce it down. So it's like even more that spill of light going there. But because it's beneath the shadow, you get the shadow of the text, and then you have that sort of spill of light that then falls off into the sort of darkness.
There's something odd about it on my end. I can't put my finger on what it is.
I think my problem is just the quality of the camera makes it look a bit weird.
Yours looks perfectly fine. I'm just like...
See, the reason why this is a better option than the pen is because I can go into the colour and say, actually, I really want it blue. So I click on blue and then just fill the layer.
So I say I want to go pink and I just go fill alpha lock, yeah, fill layer. Oh,
that's a bit bright. Whoa.
Yeah, so boom, pink.
Let me just see if I can actually turn the camera down just for a second, just to get the effect. Oh, I didn't go low enough.
But you know what? Actually, that one before was actually pretty cool.
And then the last stage, optional stage, if you create another layer above the sort of spill of light you've just made, is to go back to using the calligraphy monoline brush, quite small, and then you just do some trailing wires going down the wall.
Oh, that gives that the realistic effect of, oh, you know, that's actually a real piece. Those are always fun to do. It's like one of the things that I love most about doing these type of things, like making it look realistic, but then also just adding like this realism of like, hey, you know what, if it was real, like how would it look? And then just having those elements like as best as you can. So there would be 1, 2, there might be even here, plug on this side just to, like it's flowing, the neon elements are flowing through that side. Through here. Kind of breaks it down though, but. Why not? Why not?
And also another reason why this is slightly better is because like, I can go in and I don't know if you can see that. Let me make it bigger. I can add like a fake shadow where it's overlapping, and it doesn't cut the light trail. It just cuts the white. If I add so I've had a mask to the white layer, and I can erase that in areas, but it doesn't affect the light spill.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you're using the brush on it, it cuts through the lateral light. That's the reason why this is a sort of slightly more. I wouldn't say it's a better. I'd say it's an alternative version if you're wanting to keep going into.
No, just say it's better. Just say it's better.
It's better. It's better.
It just the way it is.
It is. So because obviously the thing is, neon lights come a long ways. It's sort of arcing back to the retro neon light because now it's made out of LEDs and it can be made into any sort of shape. But when it was glass tubes, they had to stop it and then start it again.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you want to do some overlaps.
So there's something about yours that I'll just like more than mine. So I'm trying to see what it could be. Let's see. Just gonna erase some here. You know that for the one piece I did, maybe let me see if I can find that piece. I'll have to first cut to my face here because just to see if I can find the one piece that I did with the neon effect. But I used a different technique and it was a little bit stupid of how I did it. It totally works, but it's a lot more complicated than it is. There we go. So that's the one. Let's cut back to that. So this here is the one that I did. And I actually was looking for a piece that already had those features. So let me see if I can actually find the video of the creation part. Yeah, so the wall that I used, I had to Photoshop all these elements in it. And then I went through different pieces here. But then I was like constrained by how the lighting effect was to make everything else work. And then finally, yeah, like it works, but it's
I quite like, actually, you know, the variation of the light hitting the wall where there's more of this of the letter together is going to make it brighter.
Yeah. It's just funny because I actually just re-photoshopped one wall that had already neon. So if you go on Unsplash, and if you type in here neon, you'll find that exact same wall somewhere, but with a different sign. And let's see if I can find that again somewhere.
I'm trying to think if I've got a letter we can try doing an internal one by.
Oh, you know, any letter will do. But I love looking at real pictures of like neon signs, because you can learn so much from that. Like you can see how it reflects, how like it really like how it lights in here. So if you look at that, you see that those tubes inside, like they're hollow, they're actually not fully lit, so you would see the glass that it's in. You see how it's curved, how like they darken parts of the metal or of the glass, so it's like hidden, so it stands out as one letter. So those are like details. If you really want to take your lettering piece to the next step or to the next level, it's always going to the real thing and then looking at it like, how could you do that? How can you do it better? And how can you use those ideas and elements in that real thing? So going back here, looking at, like here we have a 3D letter that is kind of like full but has like neon signs inside of them. So even if we go to the neon graveyard place, like that's where we get our inspiration from. That's where we can draw the ideas and the concepts and try to come up with new ideas, how we can do that even better.
So having this basis of, this is a way of constructing it, you can just look at, like you say, take that inspiration and then just add in those little subtleties of how they overlap, how the like how with the surface behind,
how even the glass bends. Like that's already different than like how does the glass actually, like what's the limit of the bend, how can it bend really well, and so on. And the imperfection, like here you can see perfectly how imperfect the P is, because it has to bend a certain way to go behind it and then like be attached. And like there are these fixtures in the wall that will hold the glass in here. Like you see those small tiny fixtures that will hold the glass in its place and that you have to attach in the back of the wall. And so those are just all elements, and kind of like how the end looks like. We just kind of made like a black dot and ended that there, but you can actually really see like the cables, how it's connected, all of that stuff. It's fascinating.
And that's how I learned how to do it. It's just by playing, trying different effects.
So see, you're doing one letter where you're filling it out. Like I want to take this as an inspiration, like these, the park sign here for probably a hotel that has like an arrow going down. And I want to use kind of like this round circle, those letters that are stenciled out inside of it. And so what I can do here now is just go back, go out again, and then jump back to the one we just did, actually create a new one. And so like draw.
I'm just seeing whether you can create sort of lights in the same sort of effect. So let's try a light pink and then give these a blur. Not quite sure what works with those lights. So what I'm going to do is try it with the light going through. Letter here. Need to center that a little bit better. And then let me go back to the inspiration board. Whoops. Oh, where did it go? There we go. I'm just trying to see if I can make this bar inside of here light.
There's so many beautiful things that you can find. It's fascinating to see what you can find here on the like, that's not even like Pinterest. That just Unsplash. And now I totally lost my inspiration. Well, now I've lost it. How did I lose it?
I think it's one thing we didn't prepare for was the fact that you can't see my neon light.
No.
Let me change the color of my letter.
So that's the other thing that I'm realizing right now. It's kind of like going into the actual neon light signs and then grabbing the color from those signs as well, just to get like the accurate color scheme.
Mm.
I think I'm getting closer. And I think I just passed it again. Oh, there we go. So this time I'm downloading it, and now I can bring that into here. And kind of use that as a background just to see those colors. So nice. I already have an A on top, which is going to be nice. I'm going to change the background color to something dark, not too dark. And then I'm going to pick up that white. And then I'm going to use the monoline here, and I'm going to go to the right layer. So it's going out here, it's going all the way there. Huh. I'm just gonna end it like that. And then I'm gonna use the technique with the glow. Change the color to the nice blue. Duplicate that 1,000 million times. Fill layers. So, and then
there probably is a shortcut, right? I think there's a way of adding like a stroke to the edge of your letters, because obviously you can't do that quickly and easily in Procreate. But I think by doing a short, like a slight blur and then duplicating it makes that line a bit more solid. That's the reason behind it. It's like having an outer glow, because like just one Gaussian blur is not thick enough, and that's why you duplicate it, because it thickens it up a bit without making it bigger. So. And it's sometimes you sort of stumble on effects, like my letter looks like it's a glowing, like I didn't mean to make it like this, but because I'm using my chalk brushes, they're see-through, they're slightly transparent. It means that the letter looks like it's like a glowing bowl, the whole letter. More so on actually the camera than it is actually in real life.
Pink here in the back. I'm realizing I have no clue what I'm doing, but that's okay.
Yeah. Neither do I.
This is kind of the Avenger signs, but not really.
Yeah.
And I can really go dark on the background. Like this. Then maybe add some light bulbs around, some reddish light bulbs.
Oh, that's a good idea. I might try the light bulb.
I'm just gonna go with those aluminum. Oops, shouldn't have done it on this layer. I could go with those light bulbs in here. So did you hear about my TikTok challenge yesterday?
No, what was your TikTok challenge?
So at church, we did a speed drawing challenge, and I lost last week in our church on the live stream. And one is I lost at a drawing challenge, which already sucks enough. But then the what we had to do was to do a challenge, to do a TikTok challenge, like to learn a TikTok dance. And I fell in love with learning TikTok dances. It's really fun.
Oh, wow.
And now I should do more of them.
What song did you do it to?
I did 3 actually, because we couldn't leave it at 1. So we did the Weeknd song. We did one with, what was the other one? It was Can't Touch This, but with a remix at the end. And then another one. So here, there's a little drop shadow on this. That doesn't really work well.
I'm very good I just realised I'm not very good at drawing light bulbs.
It's hard, right? You see Gal Share do that on Instagram, and like kind of like the easiness of how he draws things, and you're like, oh, I could do that. And then you realize, easy, nope, easy. I definitely cannot do that. So here, those lens flare help to give that a little bit more of an effect. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm done with that one. That is an A. So here's the A. Here's the Nikki I did for Nikki. Also one way of learning something. But again, just to go through the whole tutorial again. So first, what you'll do, let me switch over here. So first, what you will want to do is get a brick background, reduce the saturation to all just black and white, then add like a black background to just give it a vintage not a vintage look, more of how do you call that again, Ian? The surrounding
vignette.
Vignette, not vintage, vignette.
I thought you would know. I thought that you'd know that from your photography days.
I know, but see, sometimes some words escape me and I just forget about it. So okay,
right, I'll let you off this time.
Unsaturate the background. Just get a brick image from Unsplash. Then put another black layer. Erase some parts inside. You can also just draw with a really soft brush. You can draw the outside, or you can do that, keep that until the end, very end, where you know exactly the shape of your word that you're going to have, or the quote that you're going to draw out. Then what you're going to do is you're going to draw out, or you use a grid, for example, to draw your letter. You're going to use then you can sketch it out first, but then also draw out the word with a monoline brush, just so it has the same thickness all over. You probably want to keep it thin, or just in the thickness of your neon sign that you want to keep. Then you're going to duplicate it in 4 layers. So the first layer, the bottom layer, will be the shadow layer. Then you'll have 2 blurred layers, and the top one will be the white layer. So that's what you want to have. So the first second to bottom layer is the one that you're going to blur to just about 9-10%. And then you're going to duplicate those layers 10 times and then squish them back together, and then just color those in. You do the same thing with the second layer, the top second layer, and you're going to duplicate that only 5 times, and you're going to put the blurriness, before you duplicate them, you're going to put the blurriness to 20%, so double of what you did before, so 18-20%. And then you're going to duplicate these 5 times, squish them back together into one, merge them into one layer, and then you're going to set the blending mode to add, so you do not miss out on kind of like how it mixes in together. So again, you have the bottom layer, which is the shadow layer. You have those 2 different blurred colored layer, and then you can also switch those colors around if you want to. And then finally, you have the top layer, which is kind of the really nice sharp All right, guys. That is weird. Why is no one here? Why am I not seeing there anything? So you guys should still be hearing me right now. No, you do not have gone deaf. The problem is my computer just died and I just have to restart it again. So that's why Ian was gone and why now my lips aren't syncing and why this is looking terrible. Things we are learning from. It's stupid. It's just what it is. So I hope you guys are doing well. You learned something brand new. I do not want to end this here. That would be a little terrible, but until we get everything back and running, it could be just a few seconds, and this camera will probably die as well in some moments. So Ian, you should hear me now through WhatsApp. My computer just died, so. Okay, so this microphone should be back on. My computer is back and running. I'm gonna turn off here the WhatsApp call. Oh, actually, no. You still are not in the meeting, so I need to get that meeting back and running. Yeah, because I'm probably not in it anymore. Good things. Join. So I'm gonna invite participants. Invite. We're gonna copy the URL. We're gonna send that to you over. No, that's not the right link. Sorry, that wasn't the right link. Whoa. So guys, I'm sorry that it's taking so long and you guys have to be patient right now. And that is just something that happens. But, you know what? I'm gonna end it here because it's time and we have gotten around to explain you all how things work and how we are doing things. Sorry that it just didn't work and that we had to end it shortly, abruptly, but thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you still enjoyed. You learned something new. You got to spend some time creating. We'll be back on Wednesday. I'll be back definitely on Wednesday and on Friday and on Monday next week and so on and so on. So I can't wait to see you guys there. We'll try to work it out, make sure that this computer thing breakdown doesn't happen again. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the next one. You can already... Well, I'm going to put up the next live stream event in just a second after this, so you guys can turn on the bell, notification bell, and join us there. Thank you, Ian, so much for joining us. You are just hearing that over WhatsApp right now, but thank you so much for teaching us all the neon lettering sign on Procreate and how to do this. And I'm excited to share that with everyone else. And also we're gonna share Brenda and Nikki with you guys, the lettering that we did with you. So you can just text us, send us an email, and we'll get those files to you directly. And then what is left to say? Guys, keep creating, be awesome, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Bye.